Hey, what's going on, YouTube land? It's me, TJ, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Wrestling Nostalgia, where I give my wrestling content on these videos. So, today we're going to be reviewing the King and Queen of the Ring. Oh, my bad. I mean Night of Champions, but I don't understand why they're not calling it King of the Queen of the Ring PLE event, because that's what it was. I don't see a whole lot of championship matches defended on this PLE event, but hey, whatever. We're going to be reviewing the Night of Champions PLE event, and we're going to go ahead and kick it off right off with the King of the Ring tournament. The finals, it is Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes. So in this particular matchup, I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to get into the whole full matchup. I'm going to just go ahead and get into it. These two actually put on a pretty decent matchup. I wasn't really all that invested into it because I kind of already knew who was going to win. Not even kind of, I already knew who was going to win. And the story with this matchup is, basically they haven't fought like a whole lot of times. And Cody Rhodes basically I think they said that it was 4-1 or something like that. I'm going to look it up again as far as like the record of win-loss record between Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. In this matchup, the story was Cody Rhodes targeting Randy Orton's back, and he wound up working on the back like throughout the matchup. Randy Orton wound up like fighting back. And the crazy thing about it is, I don't know if I was the only one that caught this, but Cody was kind of wrestling like a heel. And I was just looking like, is this the beginning of a heel turn finally for Cody Rhodes? Because everybody keeps saying Randy, but I don't know. I kind of beat that. But anyways, push come to shove, they actually put on a pretty decent matchup. I didn't like the fact that Cody Rhodes kicked out of like 2 RKOs. That was crazy work to me. But towards the end of the match, Randy Orton wound up exposing the turnbuckle. He tried to hit Cody Rhodes' face in it, but it did not work. He wound up running and ramming himself into the exposed turnbuckle, and then Cody Rhodes wound up hitting the crossroads and 1, 2, 3. Randy Orton loses this matchup, and the new King of the Ring, the winner, Cody Rhodes, is the King of the Ring for 2025, which I already knew, but I'm going to be honest. Let's just go ahead and get into to how I feel about this. I'm going to be real. I'm Cody'd out. I am Cody'd out. I understand that he is the face of the company and all this other stuff, but I just hope they don't do the same mistake that they do all the time, where they just run. This is why the Attitude Era is always going to be superior. I don't care about those numbers that are inflated or anything like that as far as this current era, because it's supposed to be the best era ever, whatever. Lies. Because in the Attitude Era, they switched people around as far as like the top stars. It wasn't always one person and then they just, we're just going to go ahead and be gun-ho on this one guy. They had interchangeable main event players, and that's why the Attitude Era, to me, will always be far superior. Argue with your mama, because I said what I said. I'm tired of them doing this whole same song and dance. Like, you'll get more bang for your buck if you make other stars and change out the top players of the WWE division instead of just gun-holding on one person to be your, go-to. But hey, that's just my opinion on it. I wasn't feeling this. I'm going to be honest. It just was a foregone conclusion, and it is what it is. Congratulations to Cody Rhodes. He is more than likely going to win at SummerSlam, which is going to be boring and dry. I'm sorry. He needs to lose again, so that way we could go ahead and get a heel Cody turn. But honestly, I really don't care if he turns heel or not. I'm just over Cody Rhodes. They're, like I said before, they're overplaying their hand. And they're doing the same thing with Rhea Ripley. And speaking of which, we're going to get into that next. So I'm just going to close out and just say that, kudos to you, Cody.
Congratulations. Bitch.
In this next matchup, it is Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez in a street fight match. And this matchup actually far exceeded my expectations. This matchup actually, to me, just my opinion, was actually better than the King of the Ring tournament match. And these two actually ripped into each other. It definitely was giving a street fight match. these two were like going and tearing into each other. And I'm not gonna lie, towards the end of the match really was like very, I don't know how to feel about it. So as the match was going on and progressing, these two were like, you know, hitting each other with kendo sticks and steel chairs and all that other good stuff. And, you know, Rhea Ripley wound up putting Raquel Rodriguez in a prison lock or whatever, that little move, you know, that submission hold that she has them upside down with their legs, you know, tied up with her hands and stuff like that. So Raquel Rodriguez wound up in that move, right? So then all of a sudden Roxanne Perez came out and these two wind up going back and forth. Well, not a whole lot of back and forth. She winds up breaking up the prison lock. And then Rhea Ripley wound up, you know, getting her hands on Roxanne Perez. Then she winds up suplexing her. Then she was out of commission. And then I think she put a trash can over her head. And I seen the memes online about that. And that, if I find it, I'm going to just put it on the side or something like that. But she wound up putting a trash can over her head and she put her out of commission. Towards the end of the match, Raquel Rodriguez wound up getting hit with a riptide on the top rope on the table that she set up on the top turnbuckle. And 1, 2, 3, Rhea Ripley once again wins. So I'm going to keep this short and sweet, and I'm not going to try to go overly long about this. It's getting played out, WWE. It's getting played out. I'm going to be honest with you. Look, Rhea Ripley is a star. She definitely is a top female pro wrestler in your business. She is definitely a star. She is a superstar. Not taking that away. But however, stop doing this. Stop making her the superwoman of WWE. Like, y'all are super Cena in her out. And it's getting boring. And I get it. She's over. And I'm glad y'all did not put the Money in the Bank briefcase on her. Good job for you guys for doing that. Thank goodness. But however, this is getting like out of hand. If Raquel Rodriguez would have won, she would have had a pinfall victory over a former world champion. What is the victory going to do for Rhea Ripley? If they both had the same accomplishments and accolades, okay, cool. Toss up. Rhea has more world titles than Raquel Rodriguez. So why not give Raquel the rub so that way y'all can build a new star? Like, y'all can't keep doing this whole we're scared to put the rocket on. Like, just do it. This is why, again, the Attitude Era will be superior. Y'all are afraid to take risks. So I'm going to leave it off right here. This was BS. Raquel should have won, and this would have propelled her career. Granted, yeah, y'all could have even did a 3 for 3 and then had, like, Rhea ultimately won the feud. But, hey, it is what it is. They made the decision, and hey, congratulations to Rhea. In this next matchup, it is Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross, and these two go at it or whatever, and Sami is getting the best of Karrion Kross in the beginning of this match up until Scarlett and Karrion wind up, I guess, strategizing outside of the ring. So then this is when he drags Sami out of the ring, and he just goes ahead and beat him up. The two had a cute little back and forth here and there. Well, mostly this match was getting dominated by Karrion Kross up until Karrion Kross kind of got a little bit too cocky, because after the two had like a back and forth or whatever, he wound up doing the cross jacket or something like that. And Sami looked like he was about to go ahead and like knock out. But then he winds up putting his hand on the rope. So then he winds up like beating him up in the corner. He winds up doing like 2 clotheslines, and he says, "Say that you're a liar. Say that you're a liar." Karrion Kross got a little bit too cocky. He tried to do it a third time. He wound up getting hit with the haluva kick. And 1, 2, 3, Sami Zayn wins this match. I'm going to be honest, I wasn't all that invested into this match, but it was a good thing. It wasn't unwelcome to see Karrion Kross finally be at a PLE event. I'm glad to see it. But however, they should have named this King and Queen of the Ring PLE. Like, I don't get why they named it Night of Champions, because they're not champions in this match. So it just didn't make any sense. But I don't really have a whole lot to say because, again, I don't get why they were on the PLE event called Night of Champions and why they didn't just call it King of the Queen of the Ring PLE. But hey, whatever. And another thing, I don't understand why Karrion Kross didn't win this match. Like, this does nothing for Sami Zayn. So unless he's about to face off with Gunther at SummerSlam and win the world title, I don't understand why he won. So if he's not winning the world title this year, not next year, this year. If he's not winning that world title this year, there's no rhyme or reason why Karrion Kross didn't win this one. Like, it does nothing for Sami.
Congratulations.
In this next matchup, it is for the United States Championship. It is Solo Sikoa versus the United States champion, Jacob Fatu. So in this matchup, Solo was on his best BS. He wound up like right off rip, just beating up on Jacob Fatu. And Jacob was actually wrestling like a face in this match. But I guess with the overwhelming popularity of Jacob Fatu, of course, Solo's more of the heel than Jacob is. Definitely since he turned on Solo Sikoa at Money in the Bank. So it makes sense. He wound up headbutting him and was beating him up. And of course, the two had a back and forth or whatever. The crazy thing about it is, in this matchup, towards the end, Tonga Loa, I think, if I'm not mistaken, wind up coming back as he wound up knocking Jacob Fatu off of the top rope. And then he wound up hitting a twisted net break or whatever. That still doesn't get the job done. So, however, also, too, I forgot the other man named JC or whatever. He actually came out and did the distraction, and that's what caused the whole thing with Tonga Loa or whatever. So, after this, Jacob Fatu wound up beating up everybody outside of the ring and everything like that. And I guess the referee got distracted. So, when Jacob Fatu wound up doing the pump-up moonsault, he wound up getting torn out of the ring and then wound up getting chokeslammed through the announcer's table, didn't budge. He wound up throwing him back in the ring. Solo Sikoa winds up hitting the Samoan Spike. 1, 2, 3. Jacob Fatu's United States Championship reign is over. And for the first time on the main roster, Solo Sikoa have won singles gold. So, only thing about it, I didn't even know Jacob only had 2 title defenses while he was champion. And in 70 days, he could at least had like a good 3 or 4. What's so crazy about this situation, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm going to try to look at the stats, even Stephanie Vaquera had more title defenses than Jacob Fatu. And she was champion for about the same amount of days. And she had like a good 4 to 5 title defenses. I'm like, what the heck? Like, did he just forget that he was the United States champion or something? Like, that's the only thing that, like, I hated about his championship reign is the fact that he didn't have a whole lot of title defenses. He could at least got a good solid 5. But I don't know what happened. I don't know why they didn't get new contenders. Like, there were a roster full of men, and you could even had a lower tier guy. And that would have been cool with me. But for whatever reason, I don't know. But was this the right decision? I'm okay with it. But I don't know if I rather would say yay or nay about it, but it definitely wasn't the wrong decision, I'll say that. And I just feel like I just wish that Jacob had more runs under his belt. That's it. But it is what it is. Congratulations to Solo Sikoa and his faction of Bloodline. I wonder where's the other brother. Is he still out on injury reserve? But anyways, hey, congratulations, Solo. In our next matchup, it is the finals for the Queen of the Ring tournament. Jade Cargill versus Asuka. This match is what I was most anticipating on, honestly. And to be quite frank, I actually was not disappointed, in my opinion. But anyways, let's get right into the action just a little briefly. So Jade and Asuka kind of had like a power struggle like in the beginning. But of course, Asuka being the wily veteran that she is, she does find a way to get Jade Cargill down. And she winds up like working her. Of course, Jade Cargill kind of comes back. And I remember Asuka was like working on the arm later on in the match, and she wound up getting Jade for the good majority of this matchup. But again, Jade was here to get her issue off as well. But towards the end of the match, as Asuka looked like she closing in on the end of the matchup and try to wrap this thing up, she winds up doing her Empress something. I forgot what it was called. Basically a hip thrust. It's basically another version of Jada Parker's, hip thrust move or whatever, the hypnotic. So it's the same thing, but she winds up missing it, and Jade Cargill winds up catching her in midair, and it hits her jaded. 1, 2, 3. Jade Cargill is the new Queen of the Ring, and she's going on to SummerSlam to face off with Tiffany Stratton for the Women's Championship. But the only thing that I really had an issue with, as far as this matchup goes, it was a little clunky. Just a little bit, but other than that, it was not a horrible bout like whatsoever. But I'm actually pleasantly surprised, only because of how the matchup between Roxanne and Jade Cargill went, and it wasn't like the best. But being as though that Asuka is a veteran and 20 plus years in the game, I'm not surprised that this matchup turned out better than expected. I'm glad that they had a really decent bout, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen at SummerSlam. Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill. We all know that that's probably the match that they're going to be billing for. That's the big name matchup. As lackluster as the matchup between Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair was, we're going to see, because actually Jade Cargill versus Tiffany Stratton on SmackDown, what was it, last month or 2 months ago, that match actually was way better, even though they edited it into disqualification, of course. That match was actually better than Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte match at WrestleMania, and that was at WrestleMania. Just to put that out there. And then I remember after the match, Jade Cargill wound up saying that basically she felt like the weight of the world was on her shoulders when she entered into this tournament. And she said, for everybody that's, fighting against the boos, don't allow nobody to tell you who you are, you show them. And she said that Storm is coming to SummerSlam. I can't wait. I don't know what's going to exactly happen as far as like the ending result, because as we know, Naomi is the Miss Money in the Bank, and I don't want her to have a failed cash-in. So if we have to have a one-day reign of Jade Cargill winning the Women's Championship, so be it. I don't want to have a failed cash-in. I'm sorry. I don't know. I just hope. You know what? I'm not going to say it. You know what? We're going to see what happens. I just don't want Naomi to have a failed cash-in. But if WWE does some hokey stuff, which I hope they don't have happen, WWE, count your fucking days if you do it.
You better count your days, bitch!
You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. But congratulations, though, to Jade Cargill. I'm so happy for her. And I can't wait to see the matchup at SummerSlam between Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill. Congratulations once again. And finally, we are here at a main event. It is John Cena putting up his WWE World Championship against CM Punk. So this matchup started off with them trying to outmaneuver each other and everything like that. Of course, John Cena, being the heel that he is not about to sit up there and play catch can styles with CM Punk. The two had a cool little back and forth or whatever. So the only thing I had a problem with in this match is with the whole finisher arc that they keep doing, and then they just keep kicking out of the AA or attitude adjustment. It's just weird to me. 2 AAs, okay. 3 is very OC and it's trying it. But anyways, the referee gets knocked down because John Cena wound up hitting a shoulder tackle into the referee. CM Punk hits his go to sleep. And then this is when Seth Rollins' clan comes out and, try to wreak havoc. For a good little hot second, CM Punk winds up fighting them off, but he winds up getting chokeslammed through the table. Then this is when Penta, which was the weirdest. It was just so weird seeing him come out there. And he wind up, trying to help out CM Punk and things of that nature. Then this is when I think Sami Zayn came out, and then it was just a free-for-all. So towards the end of the match, this is when CM Punk and John Cena kind of help each other out, beating up on Bronson Reed. And Braun Breaker wound up getting beat up by Sami Zayn off into the rafters or whatever they were, or whatever, on the rantway, should I say. And then this is when CM Punk and John Cena wind up hugging it out or whatever, handshake. And then, of course, John Cena is the heel. He tries to low blow CM Punk. He's seen it coming. He tries to hit the go to sleep. It doesn't work. He wound up getting a face full of briefcase by Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins hits his curb stomp. John Cena throws Seth Rollins out of the ring. 1, 2, 3. John Cena winds up retaining his WWE Championship. This match actually was not that bad, actually. It was solid for what it was. I didn't expect John Cena to put on a 5-star classic. I mean, the man is pushing 50s, and so is CM Punk. And this matchup, for what it was for, it was pretty decent. But they did need a whole lot of interference spots, honestly, because yeah, they just needed it. But anyways, this match was actually pretty decent. I'll probably give it 3 out of 5 stars. I definitely wasn't superly disappointed, but I also wasn't superly excited about it. But being as though the John Cena is a heel, I mean, what did you expect? The man is trying to ruin wrestling. But I mean, that's all I really have to say. To be honest though, I really wanted Seth Rollins to have a failed cash in, because honestly, he should have never won that briefcase in the first place, in my opinion. But hey, it happened, too late, whatever, don't care. But that's all I gotta say. Comment down below, how did you feel about Night of Champions? To me, in my opinion, it was a very mid pay-per-view event. Majority of these matches could have really been on SmackDown, and some of the SmackDown matches that was the true Night of Champions should have been on this PLE event. But hey, I don't know what they're doing as far as management-wise, but comment down below. Let me know. Sound off in the comment section. How did you feel about Night of Champions? Like, share, and subscribe. Help me grow this channel. Your love and support is definitely greatly appreciated. Welcome. Peace. TJ, I'm out.
Don't let them tell you who you are. You show them. And the grind don't stop. A storm is coming for SummerSlam.
You should